Hi, I wanted to talk about gophers a little bit, and I've done a lot. I used to have lots and lots and lots of gophers, but we got rid of them all. I tried using uh, gas, like the road flares, and sticking them in there. That's one way that I learned how, um, and burying up all the holes. But you have no idea if you're successful or not, and it seems like the gophers come back anyway. And then I've also tried the spring-loaded traps that have little hooks and they come together and they trap the gopher that way. I've never had real success with those either. I even got a system that will hook up to the exhaust pipe so I could gas it with carbon monoxide. And again, you have no idea whether or not that's successful. Somebody was talking to me once about a trap that worked and worked well. And it happened to be this Victor trap. This Victor trap works, and I've found it to be very, very functional because it works on the psychology of the gopher. The spring-loaded traps I was talking about that come together in spring, the reason why they didn't work well is because they're short. They're only about this long, and so the gopher comes along with a plug of dirt to plug up a hole or something, and the plug sets off the plug of dirt sets off the trap, so the gopher's never caught. This trap here, look how big it is. And the trip mechanism, here's the trigger right here. And so by the time that the gopher comes in and sets it off, he's way through the spring that's going to catch him. And so when you look at this distance from right here to where the trigger is, which is back here, there's plenty of room for him to get caught. It's going to catch the gopher, and this gopher works really, really well. I'll take you down and show you where I have one set right now. It's an old hole, so I don't know that there's actually a gopher there, but our cat was eyeing it the other day. There may or may not be something there, so I just set the trap. But something that I do know is that I've caught gophers with this trap within 10 minutes of setting the trap because it works on the psychology. It's all black. You notice it's all black, and so there's like a cave-like thing, but it's that hole in the end. The hole allows fresh air to get into the tunnel, and that drives the gopher nuts. And so the gopher says, I've got to plug that hole. And so they come along and they bring a plug of dirt with them to put into there to plug up that hole that's at the end of the trap. And you can see it there, and they're trying to just fill that hole so you have their air. It's a controlled environment, and as they're pushing that dirt back in there, this trap will get them. And they used to say gophers are never in the same spot. Well, I've caught gophers, two gophers in the same hole, minutes apart. And so anyway, I brought this out here a little bit so you can see that this is about a 12-inch piece of wood. Okay, it's approximately 12 inches. Let me hold it up here. And so as the gophers, if this is the head of the gopher, he goes in with this plug of dirt and he pushes it. You can see how far in he is before it catches him. It catches him behind the shoulders every time. It's a very effective trap, and consequently, after using this trap, I've got no gophers. I've not had gophers in my yard for years, and if I do see the first sign, I set one of these things, and it's like no more gophers. It just happens that quick. Now, we've been working on a garden down below, and I'm going to show you where I've set this thing so that you can see how I've set it, because when I set it in there, I dig down flush so that the hole is exposed. I'll put dirt around the edge of this because I want that open hole in the back to draw them in. I don't want to get them confused by dirt around the side or the top. And so let's take you down and show you where I've just set one. Here's a hole where I've just set one of these traps. See, there's space at the end of the trap where that hole in the back of the trap is to allow fresh air in, and towards the front of the trap I have covered around both sides and edges of it, and so if he goes through there, I'm going to catch that gopher for sure. Again, this is an old hole, And I didn't show you ahead of time that I just dug straight down so I could put that thing flat in the bottom of the hole. I've got my excess dirt up here. This is my garden space, so it's a bad place for a gopher. But I've just set it down in there, and so this hole is about 14 inches deep or so, where this gopher hole is, and we'll see if we catch anything. I kind of doubt it. I think it's an abandoned hole because I've cleaned this place out and I've seen no new activity. But we'll just let it set there overnight and see what I get.